Hello there, how you doing YouTube? Thanks Ridge fans, hope you're doing alright. Coming at you live today, not live, sorry, recorded. Coming at you from a lovely wet Thursday afternoon in England. Bit of an impromptu Tanks Fridge today. I'm going to talk about something that's just, I don't know how long it's been live on the internet. I'm going to talk to you about a comic book character today. It means a lot to me, Judge Dredd. For anyone in America who's watching this, Judge Dredd is a character from a popular British science fiction comic called 2000 AD, and he has been one of the longest running characters. He appeared in issue 2, and to the best of my knowledge he's appeared in every issue since. He's gone on to have his own comic book, the Judge Dredd magazine. He's countless adventures and still going strong. What Dredd is a lawman of the future. In the future, crime has become so rampant because of there's been massive nuclear wars, and public areas are now like huge cities where people are crammed into these huge metropolises that really can't support them. I think it's like billions of people in a city designed for millions. And there's certain areas on the planet that are uninhabitable. There's like Megacity 1, Megacity 2, Japan has Hondo City, in England we have Britsit, I think there's the Banana Republic, slightly offensive name, in Jamaica. But they have all these different, and everything in between is called the Cursed Earth, which is, if you've played Fallout 3, it's a bit like the Wasteland. Anyway, and in these cities they have judges, and because the criminal system is so corrupted and delayed, and the judicial system, they've essentially abolished courts completely, and they have what they call the judges. And the judges are literally, as they sound, they're judge, jury, and executioner. If they catch you doing a crime, they can sentence you, and they can convict you and deliver the sentence just like that. For example, Dredd, it's quite common that he'll see someone litter, he will apprehend them, handcuff them to a holding post, and he'll dispense 6 months straight away, report it in to control, and they'll be picked up by a pat wagon and they'll be taken away to the ISO cubes. And ISO cubes are like the prison in Megacity 1. I'm getting off the subject a little bit. But yeah, basically, and Dredd is the most, he is the most popular, perhaps not the term I'm looking for. Dredd is the most feared of all the judges, and when you see him, you'll understand why. I've got some comics here. That's Dredd there. That's the big fella there. If you look at that chin profile, he's not fucking about. And he is just terrifying. He is this absolute monster of a man. Imagine Hellboy, but not a demon, but like a human. That's pretty much what you're dealing with Dredd. And he is this absolute... he's so incorruptible. And there he is again. He's just utterly incorruptible. He is the complete embodiment of the law. And one of his famous phrases is, "I am the law." And he's totally unbreakable. And some of the adventures and storylines he's had are incredible. Anyway, but what I'm focusing on today is the films. Now, some of you out there already know there's been one Judge Dredd film called Judge Dredd. I can't remember when it came out. It might be 95, maybe 96, something like that, maybe even sooner than that. And it was directed by Danny Cannon, I want to say. I could be wrong. But anyway, but the most important character was played by Sylvester Stallone. And in my personal opinion, up until he took his helmet off, now as you've seen in the picture, Dredd wears the helmet, or one of the judges' helmets. Dredd in the comic books has never taken the helmet off, and if he has, we've never seen his face. There's always been a reason why we can't see it, or anything like that. He's just never taken it off because he's finished work, or he needs to talk to someone. It's the helmet, exactly, is the embodiment of the law. And so, in a way, that is effectively his face, because that's the face we've grown to care about and love. And in the Stallone Dredd film, within 20 minutes he takes the helmet off, and the film goes downhill from there. But at least in the first 20 minutes he acted like Dredd. He totally pacified a block war, killed some people, arrested some people. It was Dredd. At least he got it right. Coming out this year, 2012, is the new film just simply entitled Dredd. Now, I was a bit nervous when I heard about this. But what makes me more nervous about it is I've just seen a trailer. A trailer just went live for it, and I don't want to sound cynical. I don't want to sound like one of those people who's not happy on the basis of a trailer, because I've been surprised so many times. I've watched the trailer, I've been let down, I've not enjoyed the trailer, and then I've sat and watched the piece and I've actually really enjoyed it. However, it looks fucking awful. There, sorry, I said it. I can't lie. I can't try and paint it in a positive light. It looks fucking terrible. Right, for a start, this is what Dredd should look like. Can you see him? You see what he looks like there? Look, the picture's now just come up. You can see the eagle on the right-hand shoulder. You can see the normal pad on the left-hand shoulder. The eagle is a sign that he's a senior judge. He's served so many years. And it's all a part of his... It's all a part of his look. It's a part of his atmosphere that he creates. He's a tower of, well, terrifying justice, basically. This is the Dredd they've gone with in the film, and he's played by the actor Carl Urban, who I have no problems with the actor Carl Urban. He was my favourite character in the Star Trek reboot by J.J. Abrams. He played Bones McCoy. He was the best thing about the film. He had some fantastic lines. He was a good character. He's very likeable, and he still had that very hard edge to him. It's fantastic. I even enjoyed him in Doom, which was a terrible film. But I'm not convinced he was right for Dredd, and this picture you can see now, I've put it next to a normal picture of Dredd. You can see my problem straight away. Look at the costume. I mean, it looks like basically someone took the shoulder pads off Dredd's costume, took away the natty green boots and the gloves, and that's what we were left with. And that doesn't look right. I mean, I've heard in the film he never takes the helmet off. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. That's day one textbook stuff. You've sorted that out. He doesn't take the helmet off. Great, no worries. But what's your excuse for the rest of it? I've put a link to the trailer below. Watch the trailer and come back, okay? Right, you're back. You've watched the trailer. I hope you have. I hope you pause that and watch the trailer. Now, if you're not a Dredd fan, that might look like a half-decent action film. Now, in my opinion, if you are a Dredd fan, that looks fucking terrible. The whole film is apparently based around a drug called Slow-Mo. It's an incredible name. That must have taken him all of a weekend to think of. And apparently it slows the drug taker's perception of time down to 1% of real time. So everything appears in slow motion. Now, that has got to be the shittiest excuse I've ever seen to crowbar in as many cool 3D effects as possible. Why do that? Why you couldn't pick any other story from the Judge Death and the Apocalypse, the Four Dark Judges, the Judge Cal executions, the Cursed Earth story, the Dredd's background with Judge Whitey and Judge Giant, the Mean Angel family with the Angel family, you know, the Apocalypse Now story. You could have gone with, there are literally thousands of Dredd stories, and you've made up this one that you couldn't, even if you wanted to talk about a drug that's featured very heavily in the Dredd universe, you couldn't talk about the Stookie drug, which stops people aging. You can talk about the aging machines that people use so they don't age, things like that. You couldn't base it around any other drug. You had to go with this story, which to the best of my knowledge hasn't featured in Dredd at all. And if it has, it certainly wasn't that big, because not to blow my own trumpet, but I would have heard about it at some point. I've read a lot of Dredd, but even somewhere around here I've got the A to Z Judge Dredd, and I'm certainly it's not mentioned in there. And it's also got Sarah Connor in it. I don't know her real name, but if you've seen the Sarah Connor Chronicles, it's the woman for that. She was also in Game of Thrones, and yeah, they're the only two things I know her from. And she's plays a character called Mama, and apparently she controls this drug, and the whole film is set in a block. And what it is, in Mega City 1, in Dredd's world, the city is inhabited by these giant mammoth buildings called blocks, and they're always named after celebrities. Like, for example, I don't know if this is a celebrity, but the block where Dredd lives is called the Rowdy Yates Connaps block. But over the years it's been famous as like the Benny Hill block. I think they had the Jackson 5 blocks, which is 5 different blocks. I've got Jermaine, Michael, things like that. There's been all sorts. There's the Mickey Rourke block. I think even in the Dredd film, the current Dredd film, the Stallone one, at the start, the block wall where it's happening is on the corner of Abbott and Costello, which is obviously the two famous American comedians. So there's that. But this whole film takes place in a block. Now, I haven't got a problem with that, but it doesn't look like a block. A block is supposed to be floor after floor. A block resembles more a shopping centre that you live in. Effectively, the blocks in Judge Dredd, you could live in one and never have to leave it. There's a school in there. There's doctors, emergency services. They even have their own in-house police force. So you could effectively never leave a block. You could live and die in your block in Mega City 1. This one just looks like a block of flats. There's a lot of shots in the trailer looking down. I mean, I don't know if you've ever walked up a block of flats and then looked over the stairwell. It's like that kind of effect. Again, it doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look like Mega City 1. Mega City 1 looks a little bit more... Imagine like the city in Blade Runner. That's what Mega City 1 looks like. It looks like it's a place that is physically outgrowing itself, like a child in a jumper that doesn't fit. It's constantly fidgeting under its own uncomfortable presence, and that's what Mega City 1 is. It's just nothing about it feels clean or tidy. The whole place is just this festering pit, and nothing about it is nice. Even Gotham in Tim Burton's Batman looked more like Mega City 1. The Mega City 1 in the 2000 in the Star Stallone Judge Dredd film looked more like Mega City 1. At one point, there seems to be some sort of chase on the road, and a guy leans out of what looks like a transit van. You couldn't even like make the vehicle look more realistic and look more futuristic. I mean, you know, say what you like about the Star Stallone film, but at least the vehicles in that, they used Land Rover chassis, but they built them up to look like, there was a famous yellow taxi in it that looked just like one of the hover taxis out of Dredd. The bikes they ride around in the trailer, they look terrible. I mean, here, look, right here, there's a small picture. But that's what Dredd's bike looks like. Look at the front wheel. Looks like he got off a fucking jumbo jet. You know what I mean? Look at the fucking exhaust. It looks mental. Like a small tank he rides around on. The ones in the trailer look like they're popping around on mopeds. They look like those wankers you see down at Asda on a Saturday night. It makes me so angry. I was having a bloody good day today, and I come home, and that's what they've done with Judge Dredd. And the worst thing is, what really caps it off, what is literally the used tampon on the shit sandwich, is right at the end, it just says, Dredd 3D. Fuck off with 3D already. You are wasting my time, you are wasting the people who love Judge Dredd, you're wasting their time. I don't know why you think any of this. Why does it have to be 3D? Was that like, let's make a Dredd film, and before you thought about who could play Dredd, before you thought about what costumes we should go, what storylines we should go, the first fucking thing you thought was, let's make sure we put it in 3D, because then at least if it's shit, people might watch the 3D. Fucking travesty. You had a decent shot at a Dredd film, and it just sounds like you've ballsed it up. Of course, I haven't seen the film. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I will happily apologise live on Tank's Fridge if it turns out to be really good. But you know what? I'm gonna put money on myself here. I think I'm right. I think it looks fucking awful. It seems to me like they've just totally. Maybe it was the producer's fault. Maybe it was, you know, the studio. But it seems like a real studio picture. It seems like instead of following the law of Dredd and putting together a real beautiful fan piece, it just seems like they've totally cashed in and gone with something. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. So yeah, sorry to get a bit ranty there, but this has really upset me. But by all means, watch the trailer. I'll put the link underneath. Tell me what you think. If you think it looks great, if you're a Dredd fan, if you're a bigger Dredd fan as I am, tell me what you think. If you think it looks great, you know, state your case. Tell me what you think looks good about it. You know, I mean, in Carl Urban's defence, in the trailer, he sounds like Dredd, but that's not difficult. You just got to have a gravelly voice, you know. I mean, he never takes his helmet off, that's great. But if the rest of the costume makes him look like a child who's going scuba diving, and he's wearing a costume that's 2 sizes too big for him, then you've got a problem right off the bat. So yeah, you try not to get angry, failed miserably. But yeah, tell me what you think. Watch the trailer. I hope it's really good. But I don't think it will be. I think it will be terrible. But there we go. This particular video is dedicated to 2 people. Dave from Praise World. God love him. His first comment on the trailer. He's really psyched about it. He thinks it'll be really good. I completely disagree with him. But I hope Dave's right and I hope I'm wrong. But this is dedicated to you, Dave. I hope you're right. This is also dedicated to my other friend Lowell. He's a bigger Dredders fan as I am, and if I had to film my own Dredd film, there'd be 2 people I'd shortlist for Dredd. One would be Ron Perlman, because that motherfucker looks like Dredd. He's built like Dredd and he looks like Dredd. If you get a picture of Ron Perlman, in fact I'll provide it now. Look at Ron Perlman from the nose down, and there's Dredd's chin. Look at that. Fucking seamless. He'd do it well, and he sounds like Dredd as well. If you're wanting, it'd be my friend Lawrence. Lawrence is built like a brick shithouse. To me, he's like that Marine in the StarCraft 2 trailer. He's like the Punisher and he's like Judge Dredd, and he actually works as a prison officer, so I guess in his own way he's a lot like Judge Dredd. But yeah, this is dedicated to him as well. I've got a feeling he might feel the same way about the trailer as I do, but who knows? Lowell, if you're watching, comment. Dave, if you're watching, comment. But thanks for tuning in, thanks for giving it a watch. Sorry I got a bit angry again. But yeah, that's what I think of the new Dredd trailer. Cheers guys, I hope I'm wrong. Anyway, tank out. See you later.